Hey everyone, Jovan is sick and I need a break after spending the week dedicated to planning that whole charity event we did, which thank you, we raised over $66,000 for the Secular Student Alliance. But today, here's a little marathon of recent MAGA versus Jovan and I calls. Hope you enjoy in the meantime, and we will be back to our normal programming starting Tuesday.
Kirill from Florida. Kirill, you're on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. How are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing all right. You know, just
Kirill, are you
day,
driving?
Another dollar. No, I'm in my apartment just chilling.
Okay, it sounded like driving for a sec there.
Slowly rise.
Where in Florida are you from, Kirill?
Federal rate slowly. Which part am I from?
Yeah, which part of Florida? You don't have to be specific, but.
Oh, 305, Miami. You already know.
Okay, I avoid Miami like
I think. Oh, wait, what was that?
I said I avoid Miami like it's the plague.
Oh, I feel that. A lot of people there are ratchet for good reasons. But I think it's very interesting how people are trying to argue for Christianity and argue for this and argue for that. And it's just complete polarity. And a lot of people do not understand that reality is polarity, and, you know, human behavior just responds to that. For example, the stock market. The stock market's responding to what the Fed cut, and so are jobs. People are losing hours. People are losing money. So that's what's happening right now. But that's not part of the argument. What a part of the argument is
wait. Before you get to what part, why did you bring that up?
Go ahead.
I just want to know why are you bringing that up? Because I thought we were getting somewhere with the stock market. And I was hoping we were heading into a great direction, like pointing out that the stock market's a terrible basis upon which to define if companies are successful and whether or not the economy is good. I'm curious why you brought it up.
Inflation. It's room for inflation, of course.
Okay.
But it's also a place for people that already have money to get percentage back. Now that it only benefits people that already have money. And sure, Republicans love that. The Republicans love that. I'm a Republican, sure, whatever. But
it also incentivizes good small companies to head toward a way in which they no longer innovate. They just chase more money. Because if you as a business want to expand and grow, but going public has to be one of your ultimate goals. And then as far as going public goes, it no longer matters whether or not you're profitable. It matters whether you're more or less profitable than the quarter prior.
Company. You can't go public if you have $50 million lying around. You can't be public. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't be fucking public unless you're beyond a small company. You're fucking bullshit. I don't know what you're just like literally.
What are you taking issue with? What are you saying right now?
What I'm trying to say is that people argue for capitalism, socialism. It's all fucking bullshit. I'm saying that you're bullshitting. All the rest of the people on the fucking phone calls were bullshitting because they're connected with emotions that are going to connect them with failure. Sure, failure wins us the war, but those emotions.
But I think a moment ago you were telling me the bullshit I was saying about the stock market, and then you claimed I said something I never said. So I do agree that there's some bullshit happening on the phone, but I don't think it's where you think it is.
Benefit. But don't benefit from the stock market. Now,
well, I'm sorry, what did I say?
Say that because of the complexity of the stock market.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
What I'm trying to
repeat that again. Repeat that again.
Move on.
No, Kirill.
You're too slow. Move on.
Kirill, repeat again what you said. I said your audio is terrible. It's nothing about speed.
No, you're too slow. Move on. You're too slow. It's not my fault that you're too slow.
Kirill, I've muted you because you have to be handheld because you're acting like a fucking baby. So Kirill, your audio is horrible, and I was speaking when you began speaking. So what I was asking you to do was repeat clearly what you said I said, because what I heard you say was definitely not a point I made. So I was giving you a chance to clarify in case it was because of the bad audio. If it's not because of the bad audio, and I did catch what you said, you both calling what's coming out of my bullshit and now calling me slow, I love irony more than almost anything in the world, and I will just sit within it. Now I will unmute you You don't get to choose where the call goes, by the way. You're here as our guest. So now you can either repeat yourself or you can bail the fuck out. I don't give a shit.
What I'm trying to say is that it's bullshit that you're saying that the stock market doesn't benefit the economy while benefiting the economy. It does none. Neither
so,
does
Kirill,
the
that
Federal
wasn't the
Reserve,
point I made.
which powers the stock market.
Kirill, that wasn't the point I made. The point I made was that the stock market is a terrible way to measure the economy, and it actually fucks over small businesses, the things that Republicans think that they are for. And ultimately, because small businesses that want to grow need to also aim to eventually to be on the stock market, even a company that has the potential to be good will be destined for failure because of the way the stock market measures success or not. I don't think you are actually capable of grasping that concept, and that's why you repeated it wrong.
No, it's a lack of communication. So
well, I said all the words, but maybe you were too slow.
You're trying to slide in. You're trying to slide in a small comment, which is trying to downplay my ability to process what is going on, and I could process it well. Thank you very much, sir. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the problem.
Kirill, it's weird that you're shitting on the idea of sliding in something small. Please go on.
Go ahead. Go ahead. If you want to interrupt me, go ahead. But what I'm trying to explain here is the fundamental problem of America and the two sides fighting over. For example, you're trying to get your point in while I'm trying to say something even more important than what you're even fathoming. The two sides fighting over bullshit is the reason why America is not getting to the real solution. The stock market is just the fucking symptom.
Don't use the word final when you describe it.
Create a real mixed economy. Socialism and capitalism can exist simultaneously within a dynamic. We do have a mixed economy, but it's not true. That's the problem with this economy. That's the problem with the human dynamic.
Are quite literally diametrically opposed ideals. They physically cannot exist together.
Yeah. The closest you get to it is that capitalism, when it continues to fail, tries to borrow from socialism. And then is destined to fuck up again because it doesn't finish the job. It puts Band-Aids on bleeding wounds.
The term mixed economy is an incorrect term.
Okay, I'm going to let you finish. You finished?
Yeah. No. The term mixed economy is a term that the term mixed economy is an incoherent term that doesn't mean anything. Socialism and capitalism quite literally are opposites. That's like saying, we need to have a mix of both negative and positive numbers. We need to have a mix of
You're acting like we cannot be humans and adapt to new policies and changes. You're acting like a monkey.
Kirill,
you're talking like a monkey. Are you a monkey? Capitalism is getting capital. Getting capital off of anyone else.
Kirill,
that's how slavery happened.
Hey, Kirill, have you seen the screen? Do you know, have you actually seen the people you're talking to, or did you somehow call the number?
No, I've seen you guys. And, one of you guys have a cat ear on your headphone. I think it's retarded, but if you think it's cute, go ahead. But what I'm trying to say is that what is limiting America and the human.
Kirill,
what I'm trying to say is that
you define capitalism incorrectly.
You keep on interrupting me.
Yes, because you define
me. Okay, I'm good. By the way, what I'm trying to say, this is why the argument keeps on going, because you're trying to make a point in that doesn't fucking matter. Because what I'm trying to fucking say is that wait, you're not gonna fucking interrupt me, because sure, you can control the call. You can.
Wait, I can literally interrupt you like that. Look, you're interrupted, muted, boom, bada bing, bada boom. You're gonna say I'm not gonna interrupt you. It's just gonna make me interrupt you. That's like, if you did it on purpose, you successfully reverse psychologied me, but we know that you don't have the foresight and patience to try reverse psychology. Not when your psychology is doing backflips. I did like earlier that you said, I'm going to let you finish. And you said the thing about sliding in something small. And I like to combine it in my head. Do you always let people finish first when you slide in something small? Sorry, there's no rules now because you literally asked a black guy if he was a monkey. So, that's where we are. Fucking Christ. Let's see if we should go with Kirill. Go ahead. You choose one to unmute.
Before he even gets back, capitalism is not just when you get capital. Capitalism and socialism capitalism and socialism are literally two. It's like saying I have cold hot. Jimmy, have you ever had cold hot?
Babe, do you want to socialize later? I think that'll make us socialists. If capitalism is when you capital.
Oh my God.
Hang on. I want to try something. I'm going to draw an alphabet here. A, B, C, big D, E, F. Hey, I'm going to unmute you here, Kirill, and I hope you can see the screen here. Okay. Hey, I hope you can see the screen here. You're now unmuted. I've got some letters up here. Would you say that the letter D is a capitalist because it's capitalized? Oh man, it's doing the upside down thing. See, there's a little a, little b, little c. If we're just making up what capitalism is, the D is a capitalist.
Okay, I'm going to go because this conversation is too intelligent for you to even
Sir,
be patient.
You asked a black guy if he was a monkey and you want to talk about intelligence, Kirill?
You incorrectly defined capitalism.
Because you're not patient. You're not patient.
You incorrectly defined capitalism. You said the incorrect definition of what capitalism is.
Go ahead and define capitalism again, Kirill. Let's see if you can get it right.
It was first introduced by this French person that was writing the book called Capital. So that's where it came from. If you want to know.
Engels, they did not invent capitalism.
But
remember when he called us the R word?
If you will let me finish, sir. If you will let me finish.
No, okay, go ahead and slide in your little thing.
I am going to say that it is both sides. It is the manipulation of Christians by being capitalized off of Israel. That is what's happening right now. And that's why I've been trying to point out. It's not Christians being controlling this country. It's them controlling this country for Israel. That's what both sides are not understanding. And that's why I'm calling you monkeys. That's why I'm calling the other Christians that are on this line monkeys, because you do not understand how everyone's getting capitalized. That is the fucking system. And that's
Kirill,
why we cannot integrate socialism. That's why Bernie Sanders is not being listened to. That's why I'm not being listened to. That's why we're being called fools.
Kirill, you said
want to integrate humanity with Christianity. We're being called fools.
Hey, Kirill,
we're being called fools.
You said capitalism was invented by the French. You were wrong.
Hey, Kirill, what's the definition of capitalism now that we've gotten past your rant that if we let go too much longer would have definitely gone anti-Semitic? What's the definition of capitalism?
Like I said before, if you weren't slow, I said it's getting capital off of someone and the system of it.
I'm sorry. You think that a definition can? You think that a good definition? You think that a good definition can include the word, the same word?
Another person. Getting
gardening is when you garden. Gardenism is when garden in the system of gardening.
Yeah, that's also just an incorrect definition of capitalism.
It's terrible.
So then explain to me how did black people become the so and so the person that paid for the check for America to exist? How does that happen? If fucking capitalism is not used to capital off of other people, that's how capitalism is corrupt, because it doesn't have socialism to measure it.
Kirill, can you ask the black people
to balance it?
Would you mind simplifying, because we're as you said, we're monkeys. Would you mind simplifying your wide hang on, Kirill. Would you mind simplifying your question that started then? Kirill, would you mind simplifying and re-asking your question that started with, then how did black people? We're too dumb. How did black people what? Would you simplify it?
How did black people, if let me finish. Give me like 30 seconds. How did black people end up footing the bill for America existing if capitalism is not capitalizing off of other people? If that's not the system? You're tripping. You're absolutely tripping.
He went from footing the bill to writing the check Do you remember he said, how did they write the check for America to exist? And now he's saying foot the bill, but we're the one who are slow.
It's not only because of that. It's because white people and black people, there's been an economic race since the beginning. And capitalism, what it's done, it's shot the black man in the knee, while the white man has time to put a bear trap in front of the black man while he has a chance to heal. And that was all the fucking towns that were attacked by white riots. Now tell me that's not true.
Kirill.
What?
Nobody's arguing with you. Jesus Christ. Nobody's arguing with you. That black people.
I don't care. I'm trying to Americans, who's ever listening, that we need to get a centralized idea of this.
All right, I've muted Kirill again since he's continuing to talk over you and not letting you finish the point. So Kirill, once again muted because you can't help yourself.
So nobody is disagreeing that black people have had a tough lot in life. I'm black, my G. You think I don't know what my people have gone through? You think
I don't understand the black experience, Kirill?
Yeah. Sorry. Jimmy is going to give you a detailed list of black history in a little bit. But the point I was making is that capitalism is not just when you capitalize on someone. People capitalized on others and stole their wealth under feudalism. And feudalism is not capitalism. Capitalism is the ability to own private property. It's the privatization of the means of production. Socialism is the public ownership of the means of production. You can't have both. Either means of production is privatized or it's public. It can't be both. So your claim that, like, when people tell me we should have a mixed economy, I look at them like they're telling me we should have a hot cold. You can't have both of those things. Just blanket. Now, Jimmy, please tell us how Martin Luther King single-handedly saved black people.
Now, so first of all, Harriet Tubman was Adam's first wife, and they had Cain and Abel was able to make peanut butter with Frederick Douglass. And Frederick Douglass has a cool, is named Frederick. Right? We don't think about Frederick enough. What are you talking about, George Washington and Carver? I can't tell if that's part. Yeah,
I couldn't tell if it was part of the bit or if you actually got. I couldn't tell if like
I made the mistake. I slipped up in a previous episode, and now I'm committing to it.
Okay.
What's important is that we now today can come together and recognize that Obama was a great basketball player. I think I nailed that, right?
Obama was actually in Space Jam. I don't know if you know this. It was Bugs Bunny and Obama, not Michael Jordan.
Yeah. So anyway, now we'll unmute Kirill now that I've educated him at the level he's been educating us. Go ahead, Kirill. You can slide something small in.
I don't know about Obama being good at basketball, but I know that he was very proud of his hit list. So I'll just say that.
Proud of the hit list. What of like?
Well, the Obama administration was very proud of the hit list because. No, I'm talking about.
Oh, so not the people they actually did murder.
Threats. Yes.
You're talking what?
So. I'm talking. Well, that's just something that went through my head when you said that. Now, now that we fundamentally understand.
Kirill, did we land on the moon?
Where we're at. Did we land on the moon? I'm not going to answer that because that's too politically volatile. But what I am going to say.
No, it's pretty easy. It's not too politically volatile. You can just say yes or no. Did we land on the moon?
I'm not going to fight the debate.
Did we land on the moon in 1969?
It does not relate with our argument. Now move on.
Kirill, how could you know? You don't know where I'm going to take it from there. Kirill, did we land on the moon in 1969?
You're gonna go into some conspiracy theory that doesn't make any fucking sense without any fucking evidence to fucking prove it. Now go on.
Oh wait. So why not just say, yes, we went to the moon in 1969?
Because there's contrary evidence. Move on.
Oh, there is? Okay, you're right. We'll move on. What shape do you think the Earth is? A, flat.
I don't know.
B,
do you think reality can hold hot and cold together? Is that like a hard concept to you?
I'll answer after you answer mine. What shape is the Earth? What shape's the Earth?
I don't know. It looks pretty round to me. How about you? Does it look flat?
Like spherical round, or what do you mean by round? Is it an oblique spheroid, or is it like a disc?
I don't know. How about your big fucking fat round head? How about that?
My big fat fucking round head.
You think I'm losing my grip on my own argument? But I want to let you know that your little sly remarks doesn't help your argument. It makes you look and sound even dumber, and that's the point that pisses me off. Because you want to know something? You don't care about this argument, and I'm gonna go. And what I want to say is, God bless America.
That's fine.
God bless you. God bless the black man. Thank you for understanding. But what I am trying to say is, if you will, don't interrupt me. If you will,
wait, I might interrupt you though. What if I interrupt you? Because you said you're going to rage quit. You said you're going to rage quit as soon as I stop talking. Hey, Kirill, how many minutes do you need to make your final point? Kirill, how many minutes do you need to make your final point? Okay, great. Go ahead and start now. Ah, damn it, I dropped them. Colton in Illinois. Colton is a MAGA caller, wants to discuss the Jimmy Kimmel situation. I almost said Kimmy Jimmel. Either, I've heard it said both ways. Colton, you're on the line with Jovan and Jimmy. How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing?
Just fine. How's the weather in Illinois?
We're chilling.
A lot of storms lately. A lot of northern thunderstorms.
Yeah. And
how's that place that conservatives call a hell pit, Chicago?
Is that where you are?
Oh, Chicago is awful. I completely agree.
Terrible, right?
As someone who's been to Chicago, I loved it. Anyway.
Yeah. No, you weren't able to walk out of the airport.
There's things to like the food, but the food's pretty good.
Yeah, but then you have to going from hot dog cart to hot dog cart under enemy suppressing fire the whole time. I mean, it's basically Beirut over there. All right, Colton, what did you want to talk about on the Jimmy Kimmel situation?
So I was compelled to call because you made a pretty good general comment that separates me from a lot of MAGA, and I think that you can agree with Donald Trump's policies without agreeing with certain decisions. So I kind of wanted to see what Jimmy Kimmel said if you had the quote available, because I honestly had not seen it yet, and I thought maybe talking about it with someone could be pretty interesting, and thought it could be interesting for your show to have a conversation with somebody who is neutral.
Sure. I wonder, before I tell you the exact quote, I wonder if you would tell me not what because you said you don't know the quote, but generally understanding, because I assume you're in a MAGA community, what category would it put you? Would you consider it in? What are you expecting it to be like based on what you've heard? Are you expecting it to be a direct comment mocking Charlie Kirk dying? Are you expecting it to invoke Charlie Kirk's name and disrespect his memory in some way? What is what kind of joke are you expecting it to be that was what the right has then said is worth firing him for?
If I've seen Jimmy Kimmel talk, I know he can be kind of, edgy. So I'm assuming that maybe he just made like a comment that some people took the wrong way. I don't think it's as serious as people are making it out to be, because people in MAGA love to joke, love to talk about how liberals are too sensitive, but then they can be very sensitive themselves.
Indeed. So here's what I want to do. Before I read you the quote, I want to give you a scale we're going to work with, and it's going to be a scale of 1 to 5. And 5 will be, oh no, fuck Jimmy Kimmel. He definitely deserved to get fired for that. Whether the government did, whoever did, his head deserved to roll, metaphorically. And then 1 is going to be, that's what they got offended by. That's what bugged them. And I just want, after you hear the quote, for you to give me the 1 to 5, and then we'll talk more about it. So,
all right, sounds good.
The joke happens in 2 parts. The first part, actually, I would say is even not so much a joke. I don't think it was even meant to be funny. But it was, we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the pointing, there was grieving. That was part one. And then part two, on Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism, but on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this. He then plays the clip of Donald Trump being asked, as a longtime friend of Charlie Kirk, how are you holding up? He responded with, I think very good. And by the way, right there where you see all the trucks, they just started construction on the new ballroom for the White House. As though he actually, if you watch the video, it's very apparent he barely was listening to the question and just wanted to talk about the ballroom. And it gives the impression that it's not affecting him at all, that Charlie Kirk is.
That honestly sounds about right. Like, I've noticed one of Trump's tactics is to steer a conversation in another direction. That honestly, even without the clip, that doesn't surprise me. That sounds.
Would you say it's a tactic, or is he more like sundowning and just can't focus on anything other than what's on his mind at the moment?
I think it's a tactic only because he generally does that a lot. Like that's not the only.
That's why I don't know if it's a tactic or if he's just.
I think it's just him. I think
he's just finally sundowning.
I think he doesn't care about anybody else, even with his own. I think if his son died, he would try to think, how do I score points off of this more than anything else? Maybe Ivanka is the exception. Maybe he would feel worse about Ivanka the same way we all have conflicting feelings about the first girl we were in love with. But I don't know beyond that. I don't think.
Okay, that joke was pretty
really
good,
quickly.
Thank you, Colton.
Colton, well, I'm just wondering.
Let him give his score 1 to 5 real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say a 1 because honestly, it just sounds like a general observation to me.
Indeed.
Like, to me, it doesn't even sound
Colton,
like it's trying to be funny. It's just a general observation, which I don't see the problem with a general observation.
I agree.
Do you think that the head of the FCC, Brendan Carr, should have gotten on a podcast and said that if ABC doesn't do something about Jimmy Kimmel, the FCC is going to come down hard on them?
I think that is government overreach. The government, the way I understand the First Amendment is it is freedom from being suppressed by the government for your speech. I will say that ABC was probably, the news networks were probably persuaded by the government to fire him, which is wrong. Because the way I understand it is the government cannot come after you for your speech unless it is like, oh, I'm going to kill the president or whatever, like a direct
Which
threat.
was an example he was giving everybody.
It is not protection from private employers. Like, if you say something at work, the speech may not be protected by your private employer. You can still be fired.
Correct. Colton, if Bob Iger had fired him and there was no evidence of the pressure, which the evidence came months ago when Donald Trump said Colbert down, Kimmel next. But if there was no evidence of that and Bob Iger was just like, no, I'm not having somebody on the network, I'd roast the shit out of Bob Iger for being a whiny little pussy. But I wouldn't have gone, this is an infringement of free speech, which is right now the popular opinion amongst the MAGA people is that, no, that's just consequences. The government is just issuing you consequences. And this is what the FCC is for the public good. That is their argument, with very few exceptions, though notably some exceptions that are honestly surprising. You know, Tucker Carlson, Ted Cruz, and a few others. I can't remember them all off the top of my head.
No, I honestly, I heavily disagree with them because the whole reason the First Amendment exists is so you can't be prosecuted by the government for your speech. That's kind of the whole point.
Colton, then you admit here, as somebody who is MAGA, you admit that the Donald Trump administration is engaging in government overreach.
Absolutely.
What about suppression of free speech?
I think that it is an attempt to suppress certain forms of speech, yes.
So can you give us something comparable?
Specifically speech he doesn't agree with.
Do you believe that Trump was still a better choice than Biden?
I think that from a mental health perspective, yes. And I voted for him because of better border security and economic policy. The reason that I voted for him on the border is that I had a teacher growing up. Her name was Ina. She was from El Salvador, and we did not like how people were able to so easily cross the border when she had to wait the due process, because she came in during the Reagan era. It was the 19th. I think she came in like 1984, 83. And so she had to go through
Colton, why when you, so in that scenario, you have two people you could be angry at. You can either be angry at the immigrants who are doing it to survive. Like, for the most part, if you look, the overwhelming majority are just trying to get a better life. They might be fleeing a hostile area, an impoverished area. You can be angry at them for bypassing a system that is built to be very hard to get through. Or you can be angry at the government for making it so difficult to get through, and for creating a world in which our economy now relies on exploited immigrant labor, because while it actually relies on that quote unquote illegal immigration, and to be able to exploit a lot of that labor now. So why when those are the two groups you chose to be angry at, why choose the immigrants? Because it was harder for my mother came and she overstayed her visa just like most illegal immigrants do. There were no repercussions for her because she was a white woman with white kids. But if she was brown, obviously they're deporting people like her now, but not her. She's now a citizen, so that's easy enough. But even though she violated all of that, but why, when you're sitting and you're going, boy, there's a problem with this, why are you not scrutinizing the rules that make it so hard for good, honest people who just want a better life to get in, who make it hard for people who are hard workers but poor to get in? And why go for, I'm mad at you because I'm seeing you as breaking a rule that is almost made impossible to actually keep to unless you are already wealthy?
Because a lot of them, when they come here, are exploiting government systems, such as they're putting them on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. And I will say, I am a legally blind American. I'm a legally blind American, so I live partly off of Social Security along with my part-time job. And seeing people exploit systems that people like me need to survive does not sit well with me.
This is weird. We've had two people call in as legally blind in the last 4 days, and the last one we caught lying about it. It's weird.
Well, anyway, at the end of the day, I just want to point out, Colton, like, none of what you just said is happening, right? They aren't actually taking services away from Americans. They're paying more into the system than they're using. Well, right. They were. I don't know now, because now they don't want to pay taxes, because if they do, they might get deported. But they were using ITIN numbers. They were paying almost $100 billion into taxes, and a rough estimate shows that they were really only taking in, they were really only using like $60 billion in benefits on the high end. So still they were paying more than they used.
Right. Not to mention, even the ones who weren't using ITINs were still supporting the local economies, which eventually ends up in taxes as well. But again, what you just described there, Colton, was a problem with the system. Even if you go with some number of them, even if you were right and it was a net negative, why not be angry at the system when you still know most of them coming have the intention to be here to work, to support their families, and if just given a legal path with freedom from chance of being deported just because the government doesn't like you anymore, they would overwhelmingly do it, and we would skyrocket the amount that they are paying into the system. And that $100 billion that's already higher than the highest estimate of what they're taking would go up by so much more. I get these financially, Colton, I'm not mad at you because I think you've fallen for what is essentially the easier way to make a person politically radical on one side or the other. I can give you a bad guy that you feel like you can affect and change, where you can see that their life is more inconvenient, that the bad guys are getting the stuff, rather than try and point you to a bad government, which will feel impossible to change. But you feel like you can change the lives of these bad guys that you think exist, that don't exist in the numbers you think they do. But it feels like you have the power there. It's much why cancellation works too, and why I'm more at risk of being canceled by members of my own audience than I am by opposition, because it's people go for the people they think they can actually affect and harm. I think you've just fallen for a scam, a MAGA scam, Colton.
I honestly see where you're coming from. I agree to disagree. I'm not going to go off on you the way some of these idiots do.
Wait. I don't just say you agree to disagree, though, Colton. Like, ground your disagreement in some type of anything, right?
Like a fact.
So I see the issue as, even if it is the government's fault, that's not an excuse to take advantage of a broken system. That's like saying, well, there's no cops around, so I'm going to speed and cause a car accident. Like,
who's more likely to take advantage? Who's more likely to take it?
Wait.
Go ahead.
But Jimmy, don't even start there. How are they taking advantage of a system that they pay into?
It's more of an analogy of, just because there's not something over there to regulate it doesn't mean that you do it.
Colton, you're basically bummed out that there's inadequate paperwork, and that's because the government won't allow it. Like, that's what you're bummed about here. They're not taking advantage as a net. So you have individuals you're upset at. This is what I said is the scam, when the greater positive, it's a greater positive for us. And if we would just give them easier access, it'd be an even greater positive. But you're like, just look at American citizens versus quote unquote illegals. American citizens are more likely to both commit crimes and take advantage of systems, whether they need to or not, including amongst the people who are the lift yourself up by your bootstraps. I wonder, Colton, if you'll know the answer to this. Who, of the top 10, let's just go with 10, the top 10 states that use the most welfare, are they red states or blue states? And when you answer, by what proportion do you think it is?
I would say, if we look at the most expensive and biggest economies in the country, so that would go California.
I don't know why. Was that, Colton, was that my question?
So you want a more general answer? I would say it's a combination of both, but more blue states, as blue states have bigger economies.
So as far as, if you want to go with a flat number is no good. You have to go with percentages, because it actually tells you another story. Per capita, 8 of the 10 states that are using the most welfare are red states. And by the way, the blue state that you wanted to point to, California, while you might have a higher number of people, overall number of people on welfare than you do in Mississippi, which is the highest per capita, Mississippi takes more from the federal government than it pays in, where California pays the federal government more than it takes in. In other words,
almost every red state.
Right. Not only is California covering their own welfare by the money they're paying in, they're also paying for the welfare in Mississippi, in Kentucky, in Alabama, in Tennessee, because the blue states have a surplus and the red states have a deficit. So the red states have a higher recurrence, higher percentage of welfare recipients than the blue states, even though these are the blue states are often the states that you guys think that, illegals are taking away from the systems and everything. And yet they're generating disproportionately more income than they are taking from the government.
Yeah, the only red states that I think it's literally just Texas and Florida are the only red states that don't. And that's Florida is because of Disney. If Florida didn't have Disney, they'd be screwed. And Texas is just because it has 3 really big cities.
Florida's economy was also built on, hey, we're getting echo back, Colton. If we're on speaker, you got to kill that or something.
Okay.
The blue. Remember too that Florida has switched between red and blue, and if you want to track to policies that caused their economic boom, it was all the blue policies that got you Disney and the like, and the red ones are the ones that have decreased growth and increased inflation, much like Donald Trump.
Absolutely, Florida was a swing state for the longest time.
Correct.
So I just want to. I still think we need to boil down to something here, Colton. You voted for you're MAGA. You support Donald Trump. You support the MAGA movement. You don't support their current attacks on free speech. I assume you don't support a lot of their do you support stripping people of their legal right to be here if those people speak out against Palestine? Like this administration has been doing to people like Mahmoud Khalil and so many others?
I believe in deporting people who absolutely take advantage of systems, but if you're speaking out against Palestine, I think that you have freedom of speech to do that if you're here, because the laws apply to everyone. So if you are here...
Okay, if you're only for deporting people that take advantage of systems, then you wouldn't be for deporting undocumented immigrants. You'd be for deporting anybody from a red state.
I think
because the red states are like red states are historically take advantage of this system of federal taxes by not paying in as much as they take in federal aid.
What actually happens everywhere? It doesn't just happen in red states.
Just way more in red states. It's not about
where it happens more. It's not about the proportion. It's about the issue itself.
It's both, though. It's both. It is absolutely both. And it's ironic, too, because the red states will vote against their continued access to welfare, even as they are disproportionately taking it and having it paid for by blue states.
The domino effect is funny, isn't it?
It's weird. I think you mean the horseshoe effect.
The horseshoe effect, yes. It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Colton, what I'd like is, because we have other callers lined up and only so much time to do it, what I'd like to do is go back, watch the call again, think about the things we've talked about here, and I'd love to have a follow-up conversation. If you want to do, Jovan and I will both be back next Sunday, but I feel like we've sat here and given you some stuff to think about. Now we have John in New York, a conservative who wants to talk about what we spoke about earlier, wants to bring up the Klan. So, John, New York, the floor is yours. I hope the weather's there nice also.
Yes, it's a pleasure to speak with you people. It's actually an honor, and thank you for bringing all of these issues to light.
Sure, thank you. All right, John, what's your what position did you want to present? Oh, 65. Are you in New York City right now?
No, I'm a Nassau County kid. I've lived here for 50 years, but it's being 15 miles from the center of the world.
Sure.
It's you kind of have a unique perspective.
Sure.
And I have yes,
right. Well, give us your position. The point you wanted to make about the Klan there.
Yeah. I would say that, first of all, let's just lay our cards on the table. The Ku Klux Klan is a democratic institution.
All right, great. No, John.
If you wanted to.
Great. What I've done, John, is I've gone ahead and I have pulled up values of both the Democrats and I've pulled up values of the Klan. And I want you to tell me whether I'm talking about, I've pulled up the Republicans and I've pulled up the Klan. And I want to go through each one. And I want you to tell me, is that a Klan value or is that a Republican value? Okay?
Now, I do not, and that's fine, but I do not want you to say a Judeo-Christian value.
I pulled up theirs.
A political motive.
Listen, I'm not going to be broad. These are their values and their words. And so I'm just going to run down a list and then I'm going to reveal to you after which ones were Republican values and which one were Klan values. Are you ready?
Okay. Hey, shoot.
Okay. A defender of Protestant Christianity and American patriotism, viewing itself as a fraternal order to unite and strengthen Protestant church and values. Is that the Klan or are that the Republicans?
That's the P word. It's like Protestant. Now you're dividing, just being a moral person and being a secularist. So it would be saying, okay, it's a
John, just a simple answer. Just a simple answer.
Christian,
John, I feel, John, you are trying to speak so you don't have to answer. So, John, when we're talking about Christianity, American patriotism,
yes,
that is a value. Yes. Is that a Klan, a Republican, or you want to add Democrat in there? Which one do you think that is?
I think it's all kind of cultish kind of
goodness sakes.
Okay, let me try something here. Let me try something here.
I want to try one more time with him. I want to get this through. I want to give it a shot. Was that the Klan or the Republicans? Because right now it seems like you're having a hard time deciding, which should kind of give you the point.
Deciding on what issue? Deciding. It's just like, if you have a path where
right, John,
you're trying.
John, I'm not going to let you just keep obfuscating. So I'm going to move to the next one. An America First policy trying to reject anything that seems like an Eastern influence into society and maintaining America First principles. Does that sound like Republicans or the Klan? Just please answer one or the other.
That sounds very, very clannish.
Okay. And so you think the Democrats, because you said it's a democratic institution, you believe that the Democrats believe in an America First policy, rejecting Eastern religions like Islam, Eastern influence. You think that that's the Democrats' value because you're saying the Klan is the Democrats.
I think that's the trigger word that you're saying rejecting. No, we can accept and, kind of infuse into our values, but not reject.
Wait, can I, I just need to, because this is where I feel like, John, you made the claim that the Democratic Party is the party that started the KKK.
Who specifically? Is the party currently of the Klan?
Is the party of the, yeah. But who, I assume this is because you believe, John, that the Democrats are who started the KKK. How many Democrats started the KKK specifically?
Well, you have your Duke guys and all of this, but it's a Southern kind of. I think the word I'm looking for is it was institutionalized.
Okay.
Where you say okay.
Really quickly, of the basically 1 million people. Because there were about 1 million people at the time of the Klan's founding that were Democrat in the United States, which was roughly half of the people that voted for Lincoln. Of that 1 million, how many of them founded the KKK?
Yeah, it's a percentage, not even a.
You will never get a correct answer
percentage.
from John. Just so you know.
Okay. I'll just tell you. It was six.
But it's not even. It was 6
people.
Significant percentage.
It was 6 people.
4%.
It was 6.
No, not even 6%. 6 people, as in much less than 1%.
Now we can go even further. Hold on, John. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. There were about 52 Democratic members of the United States political sphere at the time. That included Senate and Congress. About 52. Of that 52, only 6 people created the KKK. But you're claiming that the Democrats are the party of the KKK. It seems to me that those 6 people were the party of the KKK. Now, were those 6 people conservative or were they progressive?
If it was just 6 people, what are we talking about then? If it was just 6 people,
John, why are you incapable of answering the questions? We would have gotten there. Yes, 6 people at the starters.
Please ask me a direct question.
We've asked you multiple. And you're not answering them. All right. Here's an extremely direct question. You only have to answer the exact thing, and you can say, I don't know. I don't know. I will give you the answer. When is the last time David Duke ran for public office?
Probably 67.
Incorrect. 2016. David Duke ran in 2016 for a Senate seat. What state did he run for that Senate seat?
I would say Mississippi or Alabama.
Close enough. Louisiana. Now tell me, did he run as a Democrat or a Republican?
I'm sure he ran as a Republican.
So is it the party of Democrats if it's ran by Republicans?
But say that again.
If ran by Republicans, how is it the party of Democrats today, now, as in the people we need to worry about this moment, the people it has the most in common with? Because the thing you were not directly answering before is the only difference between the Klan and MAGA at large is the race stuff. They have the otherwise exact same America first conservative values. They want the Lord in the classrooms. They want to tamp down on immigration. They want everything else is the same, but they also think that white people are superior to everybody else. That's the only difference. So now asking you again the direct question, John. Hang on, you'll get your opportunity to respond because I'm going to ask you a question that jumps on it. If the values of the Klan are such that the leadership of the Klan is not just a Republican, but enthusiastically MAGA, how would you categorize that as a Democrat organization?
If you were to say that just because somebody is a conservative, that it would be white supremacy or whatever. You just said it was 6 people, so it's an insignificant.
No,
you're once
again ignoring
kind of thing.
6 people was how it started. The organization of people who created it was conservative Democrats. Conservative Democrats started it. 6 people did, and they used conservatism. They used conservatism to spread.
But use that word.
Hey, John.
Conservatism.
Correct. They were conservative Democrats.
Not to be progressive, but
they
to
were
conserve.
Conserve racism.
Conservative
things work.
Conservative is not a political part. John. Conservative is not a specific political party. It is an ideology. Okay, so you're sitting here telling us that it's the Democrats that are the party of the KKK, and that conservative movement, you specifically said that conservatives are not affiliated with the KKK. You said that to the call screener, right? That conservative movement is not affiliated with the KKK. Yet if we do a Venn diagram, right? Or if I give 2 circles and a circle is like,
okay,
what do all conservatives believe in? I'm sure that not all conservatives believe in what the KKK says. But every single member of the KKK agrees with everything the conservatives say. But I guarantee you're not going to find a single member of the Klan that is progressive. You're not going to find a single one. They're all conservative.
Yeah. I would say that if any creep from the KKK would not be for transgender kind of, guys and girls.
But you said Democrat.
Always catching strays.
You said they're the Democrats. Right. They always have to bring up trans people. You said they're the Democrats when if we look at the Venn diagrams, the overlap is tremendously higher. The Klan to the Republicans versus. And by the way, neither Jovan nor I are Democrats. We're both socialists who don't like Democrats telling you you're wrong about the Democrats.
Because you know what number is not going to have overlap? You know what Venn diagram won't have any overlap? Klansmen who have progressive values. But you know what does? Democrats who have progressive values.
I pretty much agree with that. Yeah, but I mean,
so then you would have to agree that the Klan does vibe with the conservative movement. As Jimmy said, they're America first. They want us out of all international conflicts. They want all the money to go to America. They don't want any sort of immigrants in here, especially minority immigrants. These are all things that are perpetuated by the Republican Party.
The only thing I have in common with the Klan is the opposition of funding Israel's war in Gaza, but for very different reasons. Theirs is because they would like to see Israel fall and they are very anti-Semitic. Mine is because I don't support genocides. That's our entire and even that one you can't say quite intercepts. So we've got a tiny little peck on the cheek versus the Republicans, which how close it gets to being a circle should make many more of you much more uncomfortable.
That was very well said. And
what I do, baby.
I agree with that. And the extremism, when you guys paint with a broad brush. It's kind of like, everybody says this, or all of the things are like this. And like, oh, well, you're Republican, so therefore you think this way, or, you vote that way because of this and that. It's just,
well, you have to acknowledge that you, wait, can you acknowledge, John, that you vote alongside of the Ku Klux Klan? You and the Klan cast the same vote.
No.
You vote the same way as David Duke. Did you vote for? Do you vote for
meaning what?
Republicans?
Meaning zero illegal people in the
meaning
country?
There is overlap. There is overlap between the ideals that you hold and the ideals that David Duke holds. You guys hold very similar ideals.
And that is the point. That is the point. Don't just, I would just suggest that painting with that broad brush, saying like, just because
should we go through the list again?
I think there should be limited immigration.
How dare you say broad brush?
You said we should be hanging people.
Broad brush. You said the Klan was the party of the Democrats. Okay, John, what year were you born? John, what year were you born?
72.
How many times in your lifetime would you guess the Ku Klux Klan endorsed a Democrat for president?
Oh, that's a good question. I would probably say 0.
You are correct. It is 0. In fact, the last time they did it, John, was 1924. They did not endorse Obama. They did not endorse Harris. They did not endorse Biden. They didn't even endorse Dukakis. They have not endorsed a Democrat since 1924, meaning they didn't even wait for the party switch before the Democrats weren't conservative enough for them. I assume you reject that the party switch happened.
Those 6 people were the real kind of the swing voters, huh? That was that.
I don't know what you're referring to. The 6 people were conservative Democrats, and the conservatism stayed, but the party left them.
Conservatism means let's keep it the way it is. Let's not flip the box over and
conservatism
just throw
is
everything all
nationalism.
over.
Conservatism is nationalism, traditionalism, Christianity.
I think nationalism is a good thing.
We knew that already.
John.
We already knew that.
John, can you tell me?
America
John,
first.
can you wait? Can you just tell me what you think nationalism is? Like, what do you think nationalism even is?
Okay, America first. Hey, man, fly that flag out in front of it. Could be England. It could be Germany. It could be, Yugoslavia. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You fly that flag out in front of your house, and you're proud of where you are, and that comes.
That's
first.
That's not nationalism. That's not nationalism. You're just describing patriotism. Just being proud of your country is just standard patriotism. Nationalism,
which is also
that you think that your country. You think that your country is more important than others, that your country should have everything at the expense of any other country. Is that what you believe in?
Well, once again, that's that broad brush that I talked about. It's just like
it's not a broad brush. I'm asking you a direct question.
We can help USAID. Come on, they're like really.
John, what's your favorite breakfast food?
Millions of dollars and billions of dollars have we, tried to, and
hey, John,
I'm okay with that. Like,
John,
hey, Uganda needs money.
What's your favorite breakfast food, John?
What? It's bacon.
All right, I just wanted to see if you were capable of giving a direct answer. Bacon, by the way, like America, extremely overrated.
American bacon is not great.
Nationalism is a political ideology that basically emphasizes loyalty, whether it is earned or not. It is the reason why a lot of nations end up failing, because they demand your consigned loyalty instead of your earned loyalty. And then by the time you realize they're fucking up, it's because you have no money and you're poor. And right now we're seeing that nationalism at play as inflation is going absolutely insane, as Donald Trump is actually going out and saying eggs are now cheaper than when Biden was president. And nobody reports on that. And gas is cheaper than when Biden was president. And nobody reports on that. Hey, John, are eggs and gas cheaper?
Well, to use the government as a crutch
Just like you said, bacon.
Is a very...
Just like you said, bacon. Are eggs and gas cheaper?
No. Kind of.
No, they are not. John, why if your points are so strong, why can't you make them without lying?
Wait, I will say the one thing. Gas is dropping. But like electricity
where is gas dropping?
No,
gas is going up.
Crude oil and gasoline are going down.
When? Since when? It's literally up in Texas right now.
But it's been like nationwide it's going down.
From Biden or from Trump's administration also would be the question.
I don't know who it's from, but like nationwide gas has been, but electricity costs have been skyrocketing. They're through the roof.
Right. Fuel costs are up. I don't know where you're seeing gas prices cheaper. We're literally watching.
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull it. I'll pull it up right now.
There's always issues. There's always issues with the supply line. Like, we had the bird flu, a year ago.
How come when Biden was president, MAGA said Biden was the reason gas is up? But when Trump is president, it's all, there's always issues with the supply line.
Because he's shutting down the crooked, I'm gonna go to Europe for a minute, just as an example.
Cool. The place we aren't buying most of our crude oil from. Go to Europe.
Things from Russia, but everybody wants to shut down Russia.
Mm-hmm. And why?
Because of the Ukraine debacle.
The thing that Donald Trump promised he would have ended before he even took office.
Day one.
That one? Before day one.
You can't wait.
Donald Trump said it will be easy. If you elect me before I even take office, I will have ended that conflict. Did he lie or not?
He said it was 24 hours.
Correct.
So that was wrong.
Right. And how's that turned out?
Yeah. Well, it's ongoing.
John, what has he done right?
It's still ongoing.
What has he done right?
Can you tell us one? Can you tell us one policy he's put through that's like successful?
Oh, I would say the southern border of the United States. That's a significant.
He's caused construction because of his immigration policy specifically. Construction costs are through the roof, and like 50% of American farms are about to go into foreclosure because they don't have anybody.
I think that has a lot to do. I think that has a lot to do with foreign governments. Purchasing land in bulk.
Nope. It is directly tied to. By the way, Jimmy, I sent you from the EIA. It is directly because of specifically his tariff policies and his immigration policies are the direct reason why like 50% of American farms are about to file for bankruptcy, and we're up 30% from last year. Last year, we're up 30% have already filed for bankruptcy.
I was under the impression that the ethanol kind of the government paying people to not grow corn or to not grow things because they would create a surplus and then it would make it cheaper. And then, that's actually speaking out of my lane right now.
There are elements though of what you're saying is correct. They have to motivate people to not grow soy right now because it will create a surplus. Do you know why? Who's our number one soy client?
China.
And what's happened with China's soy? What major policy has changed?
Probably.
It's the T word.
Communism.
No. It's the T word.
Communism.
What?
It's the T word.
Oh my God.
Why did China start buying their soy from other countries? It's a T word. It's not trans. I know that's the one y'all think is everybody's problems. What's the T word that is the reason why they are buying from other countries now? Rhymes with sheriffs.
Trade. Tariff. Well,
yes, Donald Trump's tariffs have made all of our countries that were our trade allies reevaluate, because he sat there and went, not just did he think America first, he thought America only. He didn't realize our trade deals are there because they're consistent and people relied on us to be consistent. He threw a level of volatility in where they basically went, we don't even care if we end up back on an acceptable deal. Now that we know America will throw wrenches this hard, we'll go get even a slightly worse deal if we have to from a country who will commit to a longer term of consistency than worry that when after Donald Trump gets done, Trump Jr. or Barron or whoever else is going to come and do the same thing and treat us in their very ultra-nationalist way like we are merely an adversary when we are in fact actual trade allies, as he's out there lying about what, for example, a trade deficit is. That a trade deficit means you deserve to receive more from a country when trade deficits are a sign of a positive economy. He got rid of trade deficits and our inflation has suffered and our trades have suffered. So you're sitting here as you're even talking about, when you're talking about the surplus things and the government now having to pay money that we have less of because we have less trade allies to people to get them to not make soy. So there isn't a surplus of soy because we don't have as many people to sell the soy to. And we don't have as many people to sell the soy to because Donald Trump is a fifth grader when it comes to economics. Your guy is the reason all of these things are getting destabilized, John.
Okay, but to suggest that was an even playing field to begin with.
Who said that?
Is ridiculous.
Who said that?
Well, you're saying that the tariffs are hurting the
basic economics.
The back and forth.
You don't tariff broadly like that. You can use tariffs specifically for, let's say that Canada has a surplus year with eggs. This is how other countries do it, except for countries that we don't have as good of trade agreements with and their economy suffers. So if they have a milk and egg surplus in Canada, we can put a tariff down to go, no. You're not going to buy the cheap eggs and milk from Canada because that's going to fuck over our farmers. That's the way you economically,
they can't swap.
Listen,
yes.
That's the way you do it, and you do it on a case-by-case basis. Blanket tariffs is something that I've only taken whatever you would call it, freshman introductory levels of economic classes, and it's covered in the first year. Blanket tariffs are bad for the economy, and we've literally seen that play out since the blanket tariffs came out.
Were they really blanket tariffs?
Yes.
It wasn't just on specific, electronics or...
Correct.
Or
minimum 10% on
he did broad
wheat or
sweeping
rice
tariffs.
or...
Minimum 10% on everybody, on everything, and then additional tariffs on top of that for specific things. By the way, sometimes not even targeting countries. He targeted iPhones because he was mad at Apple. So an American company, he didn't worry about where they were coming from. He targeted tariffs specifically against an American company that is traded on the American stock market and put Americans' 401ks in danger. Like, whatever value you think he has, you need to ask yourself, does it make him personally richer? And that is whether or not he actually has that value. Otherwise, you are getting played for a fool. As my own New York grandpa would have said, John, he has made a hoople out of you.
Yes, but I believe that's called a hedge fund where you just everything, as you said, and I'm using this statement again, and I can't believe I'm doing it, but paint with a broad brush, saying okay, you should be specifically targeted. I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Then he wouldn't have done over 95% of the tariffs he did. There was not justification for 95% plus tariffs that he did. And as a result, you, John, are more likely to leave this world poor than you were before he was president.
Look at what was happening prior to his tariffs.
It
was 40%.
Literally, the economy was better.
To 10%, 40% to 10%.
Things were better. Things were better before him. Just because they weren't perfect doesn't mean, and no one here has said, do nothing, make no trade deals, improve nothing. Clearly, everybody smart wants to improve trade deals. Everybody smart wants to make the world metaphorically smaller, right? And you could do a lot of things by, like, for example, improving us to a more open borders policy and bringing people in and being able to coordinate with other countries by not having so many regulations at these imaginary borders. But we don't do that kind of shit. Donald Trump makes himself richer and louder and more authoritarian, and you and I suffer, John. And now your free speech is fucked.
Imaginary borders? What?
Yes, borders are imaginary. John, borders are imaginary.
I don't understand.
Borders are imaginary, John. They're arbitrary lines that we draw.
What don't you
we can agree to disagree.
You don't understand. What are you talking about?
Where are the borders on Mars? Look at Mars. Where are the countries? Where are the borders there? They're nowhere because we make them up. Borders are imaginary. The fact, if you own your home, the fact that you think you own your home is your imagination. It is a myth you have agreed to with the government. Meanwhile, the government or many other institutions can just come take your home anytime they want. There is no borders. Borders aren't real.
Yes.
You can't. If you zoom out,
borders are not imaginary.
Yes, they are. They are absolutely
very specific.
They are imaginary. We imagine them, and we all agreed that they're there, and we all agreed that apparently you can murder people if they go over that imaginary line. They are absolutely imaginary.
Okay. We can agree to disagree on that one. Because,
I don't agree to disagree. I agree that I'm correct.
I have my lawn.
Great.
Neighbor has his lawn.
And you know what, John?
Is that an imaginary thing?
Correct.
So therefore,
correct. It is an imaginary thing.
Landscapers need to come and, it's just.
John, you know what's very funny about the argument you're making is if you right now call a surveyor and have them out to show you exactly where your lawn ends and his lawn begins, there is the overwhelming chance that where you think the line is will be off by feet, that you actually will be a foot wrong. And so it will literally be imaginary because over time, one of yours will have grown in one direction versus the other, where exactly you're cutting the line. John, prove yourself completely wrong here. Call a surveyor out and have them show you exactly where the property line is. I would almost bet money that it will not be in the exact spot you've been cutting your lawn to.
Okay, but that's where the fence is.
Great, and I bet you the fence won't be in the right place.
There's no way.
I bet you the fence will not be in the right place because fences are not borders. You can put a fence where the imaginary border is, but a fence isn't inherently a border because I can put a fence. I have a fence in my backyard that comes next to the driveway on the inside edge. So that's not a border because both the driveway on one side of it and the yard on the other side of it are both on my property. So fences aren't inherently borders because I can put them either on a border or through the middle or anywhere else.
Yeah. Okay. We can agree to disagree on that one because when somebody comes on to say my property and it's whatever nebulous kind of thing that you might suggest it is, like, okay, well, it's not my front door. Okay, it's not my kitchen. It's some.
It's a myth you have agreed to. It's a myth you have agreed to that as soon as the government decides they want it, there's literally laws for them to take it. And people get fucked by them all the time when a bridge is going and the government's supposed to compensate you for taking it because it isn't actually yours. And the government compensates according to what they say it's worth, not what you think it's worth. They don't give a shit about your sentimental value. You don't own shit.
I will agree with you 100%. And I'll tell you why. Because
I'm right.
If I'm going to use an F word or whatever, F-bomb or something, well, yeah, they do whatever the fuck they want.
And if Russia tomorrow takes over the country, it's their land now because they're imaginary and they're myths that we agree on. And generally, we just go, all right, well, whoever can kill me gets to keep this.
Eminent domain. They say, well, this is my shit now. And then
good on you knowing the words.
I got you. Yes, and I'm sorry for using the curse words. I'm a New Yorker. I'm sorry.
I don't give a fuck. All right, John. I think we're going to move on because
you guys, it's been a pleasure.
Great.
It has been a pleasure.
I'm glad it was a pleasure
conversing with you guys.
Thank you, John. Let's see. Justin in, where is it? Colorado, my old stomping grounds, from the good old 303. Justin in Colorado, you are on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Just fine. How's Colorado this time of year?
It's wonderful. Leaves are changing. We just spent some time up in the mountains with my boss, going on a drift trip, catching fish.
Hell yeah.
It was awesome.
It is a lovely place and a place I probably intend to return to. All right, I'll let you word your point
blessed,
yourself.
So. I'm sorry?
I'll let you go ahead and give us the wording of your argument. Oh, I should have said, Justin, Colorado, you're on the line with Jovan and Jimmy. I don't remember how I did that. Go ahead. What is the case you're here to make?
Yeah, so I was just I was calling in because I widely disagree with the claim that Christianity is bad for, and I'm not going to get into MAGA quite yet. I can, but I think it's widely incorrect that Christianity is bad for the country.
Great. I disagree. I think it's bad for the country. I think it's bad for the world. And I think it begins with the root of because it's untrue, believing in things that are untrue. Begins with it being bad, but also because I think that you can see the pattern of the development of our society, both on the world scale and on a local scale, and that every time we get better, it seems to be in the direction of something like secular humanism and away from something like the morality that was laid out in the Bible, and that the Bible actually slows that down because you need to not only progress, but figure out a way to cherry pick the Bible to make it fit whatever progress and not be even opposed to the progress, like the people who were opposed to abolishing slavery because it was a biblical precept and therefore would be anti-Bible. I think it actually slows down our progress, despite the fact that there are progressive Christians who exist who I think are not as threatening. So what would be your case that it is good for America? With that being my case, that it's bad.
My case is, on July 4th, 1776, when they founded the country, it's written in the very beginning of the Constitution that we hold all these truths to be self-evident, that all men were created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now that is
when we get into the Christianity
principles. Well, it's talking about our creator, and now the country.
No. But creator isn't creator is not an exclusively Christian principle. In fact, that's absurd to say so because creator predates Christianity. Christianity's basis coming from things like Judaism, and before that, certain forms of polytheism. Actually, Judaism early on was polytheistic, as was a lot of Christianity. And then before that, even more basic forms of theology like animism. So you can't say it's because of the use of creator, which all scholarly evaluation has also pointed to that they weren't being literal. That it is more of a concept and a common phrase of that time. And you can't go with the Christian principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness because the Bible only suggests that those things belong to certain groups, certainly not women, certainly not the wrong ethnicities, certainly not. And in fact, those were Enlightenment principles. It was Enlightenment principles that the U.S. was founded on. And it was the way in which Christian organizations were violating those principles. That's why America exists in the first place, and why the things that you're quoting were written by a deist who actually didn't find Christianity good, and supported by one of the founding fathers who would sign the Treaty of Tripoli, stating outwardly and straight up, John Adams signed his statement saying the United States is not, and this was ratified, by the way, the United States is by no means a Christian country. So I don't know who has lied to you. I assume it was somebody in a church about what you think the basis of the creation of this country is, but that you are extremely mistaken.
I do want to point out that when just really quickly, Justin, I just want to point out that you're talking specifically about the Declaration of Independence. So just to expand on what Jimmy said, the Declaration of Independence was written by Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson did not believe in the Trinity. He did not believe in miracles. He did not believe in Jesus, like the divinity of Jesus. He literally created his own Bible in which he cut out everything supernatural. The Jefferson Bible, he took it all out. He believed specifically, like Jimmy said, he was a deist. He believed that the way that we should be working on using religion is just a guide for ethics. That's it. He didn't believe we should use it for some sort of faith leaning.
And the worst part is,
I think that the mere point of him using that as a point of ethics, right, is, I mean, in the 13 original states, like, it was required that you had to have some type of like Protestant Christianity. And in order
Justin, a point of ethics after he cut out so much and got rid of the ethical claims of the first book almost entirely. So we are talking about, hey, here's a basis upon which a lot of people believe. Let me modify it to make it palatable. And by the way, the means by which he would have done that would have been engaging some sort of empathy and a system that looks more like secular humanism to decide what to get rid of and to keep. But the funny thing is this is a distraction from the original thesis of the call, because you could just point to a different country that is definitively a Christian country, and I will still say they should get rid of the Christianity and go for something like secular humanism that means that humans are the things prioritized. The citizens' well-being are the things prioritized, and get rid of the magic and the mysticism. You could have pointed to England and go, England's definitely founded as a Christian country. It's in their constitution. They're all in their parliament. They should definitely get rid of the Christianity there. Secular humanism will be superior in every way because everything we do that improves society is, once again, trying to swing a pendulum more toward humanism.
Well, let's get back to the basis of the conversation, which was that I think Christianity, even to get rid of Christianity, I think is completely against what, a lot of leftists believe, and that is equality for all, right? That's what
incorrect. I believe it is very equal.
Genesis 1. Okay.
Excuse me. Hang on. No, Justin. You don't get to make a false statement and just keep making your point. Justin, you don't get to just make a false statement about my position. Yes, you are. You are saying the way that getting rid of Christianity would be against what leftists believe, but you aren't defining what getting rid of Christianity is. So you are trying to move forward with this very poisoned well, presuming that we're saying get rid of it by force.
Okay. So
great. We're not saying that, Justin. So now go ahead and make your point without that being the basis of your argument.
Yeah, no worries. I think a lot of the downfall of this country has come and is because of this whole race hate and other people, pushing hate on other races and
like in the Bible
status in our country. I mean, the Bible doesn't say that. I mean, in Genesis,
yes, it does.
Let me finish. I've been respectful enough to let you go, and I've listened to what you said.
I haven't asked you to do that. Also, you haven't let me go. I can literally control your microphone. I have let you speak. That's not how this works.
Okay. Well, yeah, but if you wanted me to make a basis on my claim, and so when I read out of Genesis 1:27, it said, "So God created man in His own image, in the image of God created He him, male and female He created them."
And what did He say about the Canaanites?
About equality right there, and I'm wondering what is so divisive about saying that God created in His own image and equally at that.
There's nothing divisive about using the one verse. It's divisive to ignore the rest of the Bible that racists use to justify their racism, like the curse on Cain, like the Canaanites in general, like
I would argue
all of the times in the Bible that it is okay to commit genocide if it's protecting the Jewish people. Like that would be where you're ignoring. You are cherry picking the part that sounds good and ignoring all of the surrounding context. It's honestly embarrassing.
Okay, well then when you go forward to Galatians.
Great. Another verse that works. And let me tell you about all the genocide you're skipping between Genesis and Galatians.
Well, Galatians 3:28 clearly states that there is neither Jew nor Greek. Mm-hmm. There is neither bond nor free. There is neither male nor female. For ye are all one in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Jovan. He just did the exact thing I said he was doing again, but yeah.
You claim to be a Christian, but don't understand your own teaching. Galatians 3:28 is saying that when we all go to heaven, we will be the same. It's saying nothing about what is currently existing on earth. Unless you agree, Justin, that there's no such thing as males and females. If you believe there's no such thing as males and females and that gender abolition is the way to go, when Paul said there's neither Jew nor Gentile, nor neither slave nor free, nor is there male and female, he's talking about when we all ascend. He's not talking about currently on earth, because all of those things still exist, right? So this would be a fundamentally misunderstanding of what that passage is not saying slavery should be outlawed. It's just saying in heaven, there won't be those slaves will be the same as the slave owners in heaven. But here on earth, y'all still slaves.
Hey, you got that Bible in front of you?
I do.
Could you pull it up to Deuteronomy 22 and read to me verses 28 and 29? Since we're cherry picking.
Deuteronomy 22, you said?
Mm-hmm. 22 verses 28 and 29. Read it out loud, please. Which version of the Bible are you in, by the way? I'll make sure I use yours.
King James.
Cool. You gonna read it out loud for us?
Bible.
I am, yeah. So 22,
I just like bisexuals.
29, you said?
28 and 29.
28 and 29. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her. He may not put her away all his days.
What do those verses mean?
It was betrothed, by the way, not betrothed.
Yeah. I'll explain it to you. And you are welcome to consult with the biblical scholar of your choice. This means if a man rapes a woman, as that woman is the property of their father, he must reimburse the father for having defiled her virginity and take her as a wife, and now gets possession of the woman. So you were talking about how the Bible talks about equality. There's no male or female. How's that one looking for you?
It doesn't say that there is no male or female. I mean, there were two genders in creation, male and female equally.
Excuse me, didn't it say it in the verse you just said from Galatians?
There is neither male nor female.
There is neither Jew nor Gentile in Jesus Christ. So when
wait,
what's the rest? What's the rest, Justin?
What's the rest of Galatians?
Yes. Why are you skipping the male nor female? Are you saying actually he is sexist? I'm cool with this.
That's what it is saying in Galatians, is that there is no difference as far as the way Jesus looks at us, the way God looks
once
at
we
us,
get to
right?
heaven. But if you are raped as a woman,
believers transcending social, ethnic, and gender distinctions.
Once you're in heaven, but if you're a woman, now we go back to Deuteronomy, and if you get raped as a woman, you get nothing, but your father gets reimbursed, but you are forced to now be the husband to the person who raped you, which you can explain to me how that's different than sexual slavery in a moment. But if you are a man, totally different law. It's actually a violation of the man's autonomy if you rape a man.
Well, I mean,
you said you have the King James Bible, right?
Detailing legal. Yeah. So Deuteronomy is distinguishing legal consequences for a man who has had sexual relations.
No. Who has raped? Don't do the has sexual relations. I know Republicans like that. When it's somebody they like, they had sexual relations with a child. When it's someone they don't like, then they understand it's rape.
Rape is wrong.
Yeah. No, not in the Bible. It just costs money.
Wrong.
Just costs money in the Bible.
Well, I mean, there's also that thing of like, oh, the Bible condones slavery, yet from Genesis all the way to Revelation is a beautiful image of God saving those people. I mean, when the Israelites were taken captive in Egypt by Pharaoh,
the thing that didn't happen. Justin, what form of Christianity are you that you still accept the story of Moses as true? A lot of Christians have moved on and say that's just a story, since all the anthropological, archaeological evidence points to that there were no Jews in Egypt at that time, and the people building Egypt weren't slaves in the first place. They were revered as essentially their day's engineers and buried in the tombs that they created. So you're already like way off, and you're going with this story back here that's completely made up. That's one thing. But when we're talking about the moral systems that people are supposed to keep throughout history, throughout life, through no matter what the era is, and you want to cherry pick and act like, oh, but God, the reason why the Bible would justify relieving the people in Egypt of their slavery was literally because they were Jews. Because also in those books is when God tells the Jews to commit genocide, and then Moses is mad at them. I think it's Moses, might be one of the other prophets, because they left certain people living, and goes, no. You go kill everything except the virgin girls, and the virgin girls you take as your sex slaves. So I don't know where you like the Bible is whatever you want it to be. That's the problem. You can cherry pick it to say whatever you want and ignore the things that are terrible in it. Secular humanism gives you no such deliverance. And here we are back once again at, you can have the South based on Christianity during the Civil War and the North based on Christianity during the Civil War. So the Christianity isn't the thing that picked the correct side. It was actually the side that behaved more humanist that we now acknowledge was the superior side. And I'm saying, let's skip the Christianity and just go to the humanism.
Well, I think I don't know why. Like every principle that I have is based off of the Bible.
But you cherry pick, Justin. And like cherry pick. Justin, you cherry pick.
It is actually your empathy and innate humanism that guides you to cherry pick. Because you're literally sitting there and going, here are the voices.
Where did empathy come from?
Biology, evolution. It is absolutely evolutionarily advantageous for our species to be empathetic. And it is as simple as that.
Well, I think my human nature allows me to argue and cuss at people, and I would like to say a lot of things towards people, but it is only
we aren't the only species on the planet that are.
That I don't.
Okay, well, Justin, great. You don't, Justin, except for that the Holy Spirit either does or doesn't exist, and if it doesn't exist, then it isn't actually the Holy Spirit. It's that your belief in the Holy Spirit tells you not to. And you might find that if you had an alternative spirituality, I know you're using the I don't cuss at people. Weird. Okay. It wouldn't be bad if you did cuss at people, especially if they deserve it. I'll cuss at you all day long, Justin, you fucking menace. It's a weird thing to brag about, that if it isn't true, it still is you doing it. So you don't have to get rid of the good things just because you don't believe in God anymore.
I also just like to just tie it back to what you were saying. You're like, this country was founded on Christianity. Like, yeah, and Christians used their Bible to subjugate black people. It was literally written in advertisements that God tells us to make them slaves.
I would argue anybody takes the Bible out of context for their own gain.
But wait. But Justin, hold on.
Especially racism and slavery.
Who decides what is the proper context of the Bible, Justin? Justin, slavery is in the text. It's in the text that God allows it. He has never revoked that allowance of slavery. Not once, not one time in the Bible has God said, don't own slaves. He said a lot of don'ts. Don't work on the Sabbath. Don't wear two different cloth fabrics. Don't eat fish, or what was it, pork is the other one. He never says don't own somebody.
Well, you know, I mean, he's constantly, from Genesis all the way to Revelation, freeing slaves and making sure that
Jewish slaves
adhere to the
freeing
law.
Jewish slaves. Yeah, he's constantly freeing Jewish slaves.
And then he told the Israelites, "Hey, now that you're free, you can do the slavery." It's not that I had a problem with slavery. I just didn't like people making you slaves. You can make anybody you want a slave.
Justin,
it's okay when you
context. How do you know your context is better than anybody else's?
Honestly, when I don't understand biblical passages, which a lot of them I really don't, you know what I mean? I go to my elders And my elders.
Great. And how do you know
in
their context is
they've gone
correct?
through seminary school. It's one of those things of discerning spirits. You know, I went to a Baptist church when I was younger, and it was widely, you know, taken out of context. And
so faith, you have
comes
faith.
From God. Faith also
you could
comes
just
from
say
knowledge,
faith,
which is reading.
Here's 19 more words that add up to faith.
My faith comes from reading the Bible and understanding the Bible.
Great. Lots of people read the Bible thoroughly and believe they understand it. So when a Westboro Baptist person comes to me and says, nah, I hate those F words because I read the Bible, and they can prove they read it deeply, and they do go to those verses that are hateful, and they say, I have faith that this is the correct context. How do I tell them they're right and you're wrong when you're both doing it from the same foundation, when it's both of you saying, I'm reading, relying on the Spirit, and I have faith that I have the right context?
Well, I mean, it certainly comes from the sources that you get them from. You know, I mean, I think people can take things out of context all the time, and I think.
So you're not going to answer my question?
In the Spirit. Well, I'm trying to.
You're not at all. How do we tell them they don't get to say that their foundation is right when yours is the exact same foundation? Jesus Christ, Justin. How do we tell them theirs is wrong when it's the same foundation as yours, but you came to different conclusions?
Because they're trying to spread false messages. Jesus also warned.
How do you tell them that they are spreading false messages if they got those messages using the same foundation that you did? How do you prove they're false? If you say mine is from studying faith in the Spirit, and they say mine is from studying faith in the Spirit, how do you prove to them without using those things? Because if you're using the same, it can't be exclusive. How do you prove to them that they're wrong and you're right?
It all comes down to the harm that you're putting on somebody.
No, it doesn't.
If somebody is taking the Bible out of context,
incorrect,
and it is harming people around them and them false teaching, they are absolutely incorrect. Now let's go to Exodus 21,
nope,
16,
stop. No, we're not going to. Now let's go. Excuse me, Justin. Jesus fucking Christ. No, you're not going to get to do the thing where I want to say this verse. You don't get to make a point and then go, now let's jump forward and assume I was right there and jump forward. Whether a thing is harmful or not, I literally just gave a speech on this yesterday at LineCon Online Live. You should have been there. Patrons, patreon.com/calltheline. You do not get to say that harm is the basis for whether something is true or not, because it has nothing to do with it. Cancer exists and has killed many of my friends, has affected me, has affected my family, has affected a lot of people I know, and it kills people, and it's horrible. That is a terrible, harmful reality. I am not lactose intolerant. That is a lie. Even though if it were true, it would bring me so much joy, perhaps all the joy, because I think it might be the key to happiness, not being lactose intolerant. So just because the lie would be wonderful and the truth is horrible doesn't actually affect whether or not it is a lie or it is true. Now I will unmute you. If you just try to jump to verses again, you can answer the question directly, or we're going to move on. We have plenty of people waiting who will hopefully engage more honestly than you have. And just so you know, if anybody super chats at least, let's put a dollar amount on it. I'm stealing this from you, Jovan. If somebody super chats $25 and says move on from this guy now, we're doing it because you are not engaging honestly. Go ahead, Justin. You've been unmuted. You can address the question directly, or we can move on.
Okay. Can you rephrase your question, please?
If you are using the same foundation, now adding the context, as you like to say, now adding that whether a claim is harmful or not, or nice or not, does not affect whether it is true, as I've just demonstrated to you. If your foundation is the same, how do you figure out which one of the two of you is correct? How do you prove who is right, considering harm level does not affect truth?
Well, I guess I just don't understand your question.
I don't know how to put it easier.
Okay.
If you use math to get 2 + 2 = 6, and someone else uses math to get 2 + 2 = 8, how would you prove who was correct? Would you not have to have a system different than math to show that 2 + 2 is actually 4 and neither of them are correct?
He ain't going to get to answer this.
Oh, sorry,
Chat,
you booted.
Chat,
We're going to go to James in Minnesota. James in Minnesota, you contend with our declaration of Christianity ruining the country. How are you, James? You're on the line with Jimmy and Jovan.
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Just fine. So, James, what point are you here to...
I don't believe Christianity is ruining the United States. I think we need Christianity to bring the dividing forces in the United States together. That's personally what I believe.
When has Christianity not been extremely prevalent and even core to American culture?
I feel like over the last couple decades, there's been a significant secular movement of people moving away from Christ, and I think it's
James, that wasn't the question.
A lot of people.
That wasn't the question, but then let's go ahead and even talk about what you just said. So you would agree that the further we go back in time, the more Christian the nation was culturally, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Great. So slavery, civil rights movement, prohibition, women's suffrage, all of those were during extremely Christian times, more Christian times than now. But you believe that the secular movement, which is mostly a humanist movement, is the problem. Sorry, what?
Wasn't Martin Luther King Jr. a Christian? He was a reverend.
So Martin Luther King Jr. was a Christian, but he leaned humanist. His humanism
Malcolm X wasn't.
Right. Yeah. Also
Malcolm
true.
Malcolm X was a Muslim, but I guess a broader outlook is religion.
What was Robert E. Lee?
I think the United States needs more religion.
James, what was Robert E. Lee?
Robert E. Lee was a Christian.
Right. So just saying Christianity is good because Martin Luther King Jr. is good is a false statement, unless saying Christianity is bad because Robert E. Lee was bad.
To defeat the Nazis. I mean, there's good
Were
and
there
bad
atheists
Christians
that stormed the beaches of Normandy?
all throughout history.
Excuse me, James.
Wait.
What was written? What was inscribed on the belts of every Nazi?
Yeah. There's good and bad Christians throughout.
No. Answer the question, please. Please answer the question. Please answer the question. Please answer the question. What was inscribed on the belts of every Nazi?
I don't know.
Gott mit uns. It means God with us. And it was a reference to the fact that the Nazis were a Christian nationalist movement. That in fact, Nazism was Christian. So you're sitting there and going, Christians went and fought Christians. But by the way, as Jovan just tried to point out, but both of us talked over him, there were atheists there too. Your whole "there's no atheist in foxholes" thing is a bullshit thing. And now you're just saying, okay, all I mean is we need more religion. What is the definition of a religion?
I mean, an organizational structure centered around faith. That's what I gather from religion.
Close enough. Definition. It's not really.
I don't know the exact definition.
A religion is generally a system of worship of a supernatural deity or deities, but the faith aspect you put in there was right. What is faith?
I like adding the organizational structure into that personally.
I like to too. What is faith?
I mean, it's a belief in something greater than yourself. That's how I would describe it.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And here's where things are already starting to break down. Faith is not just a belief in something greater than yourself. Otherwise, I have a faith in like most things. I don't think of myself as greater than most other people, and certainly not greater than math. I have faith in math, even though it's a concept much greater than myself. Faith in physics. Faith is spiritual apprehension of concepts. It is the confidence that something is true despite not actually obtaining, deserving the knowledge of it. It is saying, I believe, for example, Jesus Christ exists because I feel it is true, not because I have proof he exists, not because I have proof he was divine, but because I feel. That's what faith is. And you can believe anything based on faith. And you're saying we need more religion, which you then said basically means we need more faith in America. Faith is what blew up the Twin Towers, but faith is also what's committing the genocide in Gaza.
Jimmy. George Bush blew up the two towers. Okay.
Tell me how my statement was wrong. I meant both. George W. Bush.
No, I mean,
by the way,
I don't know.
Let's not get rid of George Bush Sr.
I help a lot of homeless people.
Sorry.
I volunteer. I help a lot of homeless people, and when I have conversations with them.
Why do you volunteer with a lot of homeless people? Yeah.
Well, it's just what I'm compelled to do. I've been homeless before, and Christ has pulled me through it. It's pulled me out of it. It's helped me in so many ways in my life, and I just try to spread that. And,
But to be clear, what you just said was you were homeless before. You were homeless before. Your experience of being homeless makes you want to help other people who are homeless, which has nothing to do with Jesus. In fact, what you're describing is a direct experience of humanism. Having experienced suffering, you want to reduce the suffering of others, and secular humanism is by far the superior morality to any religious morality because it doesn't declare you must do things because of so. It's actually defensible. We'll actually say, here's why, as opposed to because some guy, I'm taking the word of some other guy, said we have to do it. Jovan, sorry I interrupted. Please go on.
No, I was just going to say, Satan helped me out of homelessness. So, does that mean I should push everybody to be a Satanist?
Oh, come on, man.
Wait, excuse me, James, why are you saying, come on, man? There are Satanist communities, and there are people who have turned to them. There are literally Satanist communities right now that do charity. They literally do help homeless people. So are you saying, why would it be wrong for a person to become a Satanist if that helped them with homelessness, if it's okay for you to become a Christian because it helped you with homelessness?
I don't know. I don't think. I don't know. Yeah. It's oxymoronic to me. Like a Satanist volunteering and doing charity work. Yeah, I don't know.
That's because Satanists don't believe what you actually think they believe. What about a Muslim? Do you think Islam is true?
I have plenty of Muslim friends. I mean, I don't have a problem with Muslims.
Cool. So I'm just going to ask the question again. Do you believe Islam is true?
No, Islam's not true. No.
As a Christian, will Muslims go to heaven?
Yeah, if they become saved by Jesus Christ, yeah, they'll go to heaven. Of course.
No. Wait, what? They are going to heaven, even though Jesus says only through belief in me can you get to heaven?
By Jesus Christ. If they
repent, what? No, okay. So if a Muslim lives a great life, and you're trying to be pedantic, so I'm going to help you out here, James, because you're trying to be a dishonest theist. I know, I get it. I see it all the time. If a Muslim does not repent, a Muslim dies as a Muslim, never accepts Jesus Christ as their Redeemer, no matter how good of a person they are, will they go to heaven?
I mean, that's between them and God. I don't.
You know the answer is no, and you even implied the answer was no with your last answer, and you're trying to avoid admitting it. So why can a Muslim?
I mean, that's the truth.
Why can you care so? You say you care so much about these people because they were homeless, but you're content with people believing based on faith, religions that will get them to hell because you're both on faith, right? Like faith is fine. And we need more faith, even though you're acknowledging here that faith in the wrong religions are going to make a lot of people suffer for eternity, much more than that homelessness ever did.
I don't know, man. I just believe that Christianity is the way out. Christianity helped me. Christianity's helped so many people around me.
Islam's helped people. Man. It's helped so many people around them.
Wait. Let me take this to an even bigger extreme, okay? If I say that the only reason I made it through, let's say I'm in school. Let's say I'm in med school. And the only way I made it through all the sleepless nights and all of that is because of cocaine. Should everybody do cocaine?
It's a vice. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't impurity in your body.
Christianity is a vice.
I would argue Christianity is an impurity in your body.
Especially in your brain.
How do you make that statement?
Because it makes you believe something that's not true and see things that aren't there.
Yeah, it fosters gullibility. James, you can say, come on, man, but it literally fosters gullibility. There is a reason why there are industries that target Christians, because they know whatever claims they have, Christians hold to a different standard of evidence because you can go with faith, which I guess somebody tried to correct me in chat. And their definition, when he said I was being disingenuous, literally does not vary from mine. It's just worded in a different order. A strong belief in the doctrines of a religion based on spiritual conviction rather than proof is literally like, you didn't like that I said apprehension instead of conviction? The fuck is wrong with you? Call in if you're going to be making dumb points in the chat. Anyway.
I think chat be more pedantic against Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, I think that person was a religious person because they had a thing. James?
He just preached and left. No, he just preached and left. He said repent. No, he said repent, change, and become a Christian, and then he hung the phone up.
Okay, James, well, I hope you repent of the evil Christianity is helping you spread and become an atheist. Jordan from Ohio is calling, who is a theist who wishes to claim that Christianity is not destroying America. And, wait. The note in here is something else. But Jordan in Ohio, you're now unmuted. Welcome to the program.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah.
Did you know when Jesus was crucified, there was a blood moon?
I didn't know that.
Did you know, not too long ago, NASA proved that to be true?
Well, no, they didn't prove. Hang on, Jordan. First of all, the date of Jesus' exact crucifixion is still up for debate, and whether or not Jesus Christ, the man. Hang on, Jordan. A moment, please. You will get to. It's this whole thing where, like, I talk and then you talk, and then I talk and then you talk, and as long as you don't lie, you won't even be interrupted unless you try to pontificate too long about something. Anyway, Jordan. The burden of proof of Jesus even existing hasn't been met. But if you want to say that a blood moon happened around the time period that we think if Jesus existed and he was in fact crucified, it happened fine.
Also, NASA didn't confirm any of this, just FYI.
Yeah, I wasn't worried that they had.
You can look it up on their website.
Great. Where do we look it up?
I did.
I did.
We've got NASA.
You go to NASA.com. Just
Right. Well, NASA.com doesn't get you there.
Type in blood moon, NASA.
NASA blood moon.
Yep, I did.
Okay.
All that brings you to is a history of eclipses.
Yeah, it's the most famous man in history, right? The most famous man ever.
Mickey Mouse.
Don't lie. I thought we weren't lying on there.
Oh, actually, I will argue that right now, amongst the living, Donald Trump is actually more famous than Jesus. There are more people in the world who are aware of Donald Trump than Jesus Christ.
Jesus is the most famous.
No, because millions of people existed prior to his existing too. Arguably, Donald Trump is actually more famous than Jesus.
And you guys want to believe so bad. That's why you made a podcast about it. You want to believe. No. You're waiting for somebody to come on here and make you believe. I kind of think
you're a troll.
You're rage baiting.
I kind of think you're a troll here, Jordan. All right, Jordan.
Yeah, your accent keeps changing.
You have to wait for us to finish talking. The only reason why I think you might not be a troll is because apparently in the background, your wife asked, "Are they gay?" when the screener was on.
Not for free.
And you said probably. Anyway, Jordan, unfortunately, we're gonna have to keep using this mute system. The reason why we have a quote unquote podcast about it, we do have podcasts. This would be more just like a YouTube show. The reason why we have it is because we come from it. In my case, I can't speak for everybody else. I come from religious belief. I used to be a very religious, very conservative person. And not only do I recognize the damage it did to me, I recognize the damage it did to my family, people I love and people I care about. It is possible, and this sometimes blows believers' mind, to care about humanity enough to do something even unpopular to try and help improve it, to try and make it a better place. I believe, as you see the title of this video, that Christianity is destroying America. And I apologize. Let me get Jordan's banner up here. That was my mistake. That Christianity is destroying America. But I quite like the idea of America. And I quite like a lot of Americans, and I quite care about Americans I've never even met, because I think the future world, whether I have children that are in it or just people I care about do, can be better if we get rid of the stank of religion.
Also, Jesus is ranked number 3 on Wikipedia's 100 most influential persons in history.
Who are the first
two? So at least 2
two
more people are. The first one is Isaac Newton.
Wow.
And Jordan's gonna love this. The second is Isaac Newton. The first one's Muhammad. So
wow,
sucks to be Jesus, don't it? Isn't even the number 1 religious figure.
Can't get that first draft pick. Jordan, are you ready to engage honestly and not talk over all the time?
Yeah.
Excellent. What do you have to say now to being corrected on what my motivation is?
Well, Jimmy, just because God didn't write your name in the clouds doesn't mean you had to give up on him.
No, it's because God didn't exist to write the names in the clouds that I gave up on him, because there is no sufficient reason to believe. And by the way, Jordan, if your point is so strong, because it wouldn't require writing my names in the cloud. If I saw my names in the cloud, I would actually assume that it wasn't God. I would assume it would be one of those planes that can make, well, they write or whatever.
Jokes on you, Jimmy. Planes don't exist.
Planes don't exist, yeah. But Jordan, I don't know if your point is so strong, why you would need to sort of hyperbolize to this extreme example of something very silly, when if God exists as the single greatest answer to any question, making his presence known seems to be very simple for him. It would be easier to prove that God exists than for me to prove the oven is hot.
Yeah, like why has God shown himself to so many people, but not to us?
Yeah.
Is there no such thing as good and evil? Is that not a real thing?
No,
probably at a universal level.
Not.
Excuse me. Hang on, Jordan. I will finish. At a universal level, clearly, no, there isn't. However, good and evil as a human experience relative to us, that which is good versus evil, that which is, if you define good, that which is positive for the well-being of humans, and evil is that which is negative, those things exist. But clearly, that is a subjective experience. Even your experience with good and evil is subjective, because you have adopted what somebody else has told you it is.
Can I ask you a question, Jordan?
Go ahead. Other guy. Yeah.
Yeah. If I were to say torture a dog, you would say that that's evil, right?
Yes, correct.
Now let's pretend all humans are gone. We're all dead. There's an apocalypse, we're all gone. And then another dog rips another dog to shreds. Was this evil?
Well, how would I know? I mean, I don't know.
Well, if the answer is not yes, then evil's not. Then evil's not a universal.
That, so I mean, if we're going to play what if?
Well, it's a hypothetical. So hypotheticals are what ifs. I don't know. I don't know if you know what hypotheticals are, Jordan.
Yeah, Jordan, were you bored? Is this out of boredom that you're pretending to be a Christian?
No, I'm just so tired of scrolling through my YouTube and I see all these assholes. God's not real, MAGA, rage baiting everybody. Because you guys got a hard time.
Are you bragging? So you think it's rage baiting, but you're here to basically brag that you fell for it?
Fell for what? This is
the rage bait. Listen to you.
Your knee will bend. Every tongue will confess.
It won't.
Oh, I promise.
It sounds
it
won't. I promise it won't. Like that little. Do you remember that little kid preacher that was on Oprah one time?
You think millions and millions of testimonies are fake?
First of all, yes.
Jordan, what's your
made up or in the mind?
Untrue. Yeah, I think they are. I think they are untrue. Yes.
Yeah, human testimony is literally the worst part of evidence you can put into a court of law. Yeah.
Jordan, by the way, we're going to have to do the mute thing because you keep rage screaming again. Well, I'll let you ask that in just a moment, but I will simply put, Jordan, not only do I believe those millions of testimonies are incorrect, you also believe that millions of testimonies of gods that are different than yours are incorrect. You clearly don't believe in Islam. You don't believe that the testimonies of Islam are correct, or of Hinduism, which is a much older religion, goes back way past Jesus, and there's more historical precedent for than Jesus. That is presuming you are in any way being honest. I kind of think you're just faking, though. I think this is a character you're doing, and I'm kind of waiting for you to admit it. But go ahead and answer Jovan's question. What is your favorite Bible verse?
What is my favorite Bible verse was the question?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is finished. It's
Dude,
finished.
that's so funny.
Me when there's no more pizza left.
My girlfriend and I
That's
were my girlfriend and I were texting the other night and getting all sexy like, and I texted her when I was finished.
You got a girlfriend?
I do.
Y'all heard those crickets?
How big is her dick?
Well, Jordan, I can tell you, I think even a lady's clitoris would be bigger than yours from what I can figure out just talking to you.
Then give me your number. I'll send you a picture.
I think your dick is...
I will. I'll give you a number right now. I'll give you a number right now on screen.
As though you can't go Google it. As though you can't go Google a dick that you're going to send on your behalf.
Nah, are we ready? Are you ready? You ready? I'm going to give you the number, but you got to actually send me the dick.
No, because you might try to report me. And
yeah, there it goes. There it goes. You can't stand on business.
It's an empty
Couldn't stand on business.
Make me sound like I'm some type of predator.
Business, Jordan.
Oh, Jordan, damn. You almost certainly are some kind of predator.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, Jordan, I've
never seen another man backed up be that submissive. Like, goddamn, Jordan.
I'd like to say it's been a pleasure, but I'm trying to work on lying less since getting out of Christianity. So instead, I'll just say, I'm sorry your dick's so dry.
Move your callers along.
I'm sorry that your dick's so dry, and I think you will be happier one day when you start doing things that let's say, moisturize it. Get that dick moisturized by being a better person. There you go.
Twice a day moisturization.
Now, go watch Forrest and Owen Morgan on the Sunday Show After Dark. Before you go, consider hitting the subscribe button because it gives us better collaboration power. And as we go forward with wanting to do more formal debates, it will actually help us to have a higher subscriber number to get the attention of the people we would like to have on to debate. So do that here and do that on the line. But link is in the description to After Dark, as well as redirect is probably set up if you're watching this live. Go check that out.